Oh boy, oh boy, oh
Hello.
boy, oh boy, oh boy, this is gonna be a fun roasting.
Anyway, hello everyone, welcome back to the Spider-Man video games. Still not with the PS4 Spider-Man, but as promised at the end of Shattered Dimension, Beanox, thanks to the success of Shattered Dimension, decided to produce a sequel, and Activision was willing to cooperate by cutting the content in half.
Oh yeah, that's right, folks. Beanox, you know those people who nowadays are revered for the CTR remake.
Like I said, now for a long time they've been got milked to do Spider-Man. Hold on, I need to do this gag for Shiroi because she probably understand it better. Oh no, it's not right now. It's later actually.
Yep, that's me.
You probably wonder how you got
how
in
I
this
got
situation.
here. And yes, folks, that is Anti-Venom.
Hold on, in a second, Jove, because again we will get a lot of time to talk about this. Wait for it. There you go. Your title screen is the Tokyo Ghoul slow walk.
Oh.
Oshineteru, Oshineteru.
One of the best scenes in anime.
So, but yeah, Jove is right. This is technically in medias res. So, how did we got here? That's what we need to find out, because this crossover involves only the 616 and 2099 Spider-Man. Anyway, let me turn subtitle quick in a second. Also, by the way, Anti-Venom... Yeah, we'll turn subtitle in a second. There you go. Eddie Brock is voiced by Steve Blum. With just a decent enough job, but it's still not that impressive. And our Spider-Man here, which is supposed to be the 616 Spider-Man, is not anymore voiced by... oh god, I forgot the name. Patrick Stewart. Not Patrick Stewart, my bad. Neil Patrick Harris, sorry. But instead by Josh Keaton, who voiced the Ultimate Spider-Man in the previous game. Confused yet? It gets even worse later on.
Although, to be fair, Josh Keaton was known for playing 616 Spider-Man in a lot of stuff like Spectacular Spider-Man.
Now, I will save this positive. The combat compared to Shattered Dimension has been improved greatly. Now you get to do more dodging and different moves. The problem is that what will be circle around it. But the point is that, as you can see, 616 Spider-Man is fighting Anti-Venom, while the 2099 Spider-Man is coming to rescue him. 2019 Spider-Man voice by Christopher Daniel Barnes and not by the voice actor was in Shadow Dimension. Again, it's so weird, they took the two Spider-Man, two Spider-Man for Shadow Dimension and gave her the voice actors of the other two Spider-Man. They're not here.
It's probably a good time to mention, folks, this is one of those examples of a sequel that nobody really wanted, in the sense that,
Well,
okay,
Beanox probably wanted to do it, but it was just
Hold on,
screwed up.
It's in the sense where when people wanted a sequel to, you know, the first game, they were hoping for something that was an improvement. This is anything but an improvement.
So yeah, Spider-Man dies, and in theory at least dies, so... hold on, Jova, please. The big question, how could this happen in the future? Because we start in 2099, actually. Miguel O'Hara has to understand what's going wrong with Alchemax.
What is it going wrong with Alchemax?
Apparently Alchemax has a new lead scientist that somehow has managed to invent time travel, and that's a big of a problem. Alchemax doesn't need to know time travel. Now I will say this, Christopher Daniel Barnes does an excellent job as Miguel. I will say this. It's just that, again, lack of consistency to be a problem.
So, folks, in case you haven't realized already, this game substitutes dimension hopping for blatant time travel here.
Not just that, I will mention this in a second specifically, but location is also a bit important. Because at first we're about to get scripted, albeit scripted, but an interesting opening sequence with Miguel having to crawl in a vent.
Oh boy.
There we go. Again, presentation and everything, this game is a much bigger improvement compared to Shadow Dimension.
I love that trophy. That's the Parker look.
Also, that's me just tilting with the controller to see how it works properly. Again, this sequence is fine. It would be fine, but again, it's scripted. You might as well just have Miguel moving normal instead of having me to press the controller at this point.
Yeah, this was in that time frame when video games were trying to be more like immersive cinematic actions.
Pinox presents. Yeah, these credits are also cute. Good enough.
But if you can go backwards, then it has.
I
it has
can't.
to be
I
like
tried. There you go.
Spider-Man,
Welcome officially
Edge of
to Spider.
Time.
Yeah, I didn't say the title, so welcome to Spider-Man: Edge of Time. Even the title is like way pretentious. Lots
Oh
of
my
robot
god,
books.
Gerard Leahani. He must be up to something.
By the way, Pedro, you may be interested in who did the score of this game.
Who?
Let me check the name quickly. But he's famous. He's basically the composer who did all the God of War games before the Norse saga. All of the Greek saga ones, basically.
Yeah.
His
Awesome.
name will pop up in a second. I will say, and I will say this, the score is probably the best part of this game, which says a lot of things.
They're produced by Paul
Gabois.
Gabois, Brent Nicholas, and Muriel
Roddy Boo.
Ruddyboo.
There you go. Gerard K. Marino. That's the composer. Whoa, look at the perspective.
You know, I hate to say it, as cool as this perspective can be, it does sometimes make the credits a little hard for someone who's easily disoriented to read. Oh, Peter David! Huh. What a surprise. I guess this was after the time when the head of Marvel... Oh, wait, no. Bill
I'm
Jensen
surprised
stepped
David
down
Cage
on him.
hasn't done anything like this in terms of opening credits.
Composed by Gerard Marino.
Shiroi, that would require. Remember, Shiroi, that this is the kind of credits that you typically see in video games. David directs his games like they were movies. So.
Anyway, in case you're wondering, Peter David was also the writer for Shattered Dimension, so consistency is there.
You're asking David to treat his games like video games, Shiroi.
I will say this: despite the game presentation and fucked up structure, I will say that the story at its core, it's still solid for what it wants to do.
The major problem is the character
Hold on,
dynamics.
hold your horses because we're about to have a guest star as our villain. In a second.
Holographic assistant online.
Interesting voice for this one, but anyway. Yes,
Val
gentlemen, we
Kilmer.
have Paul Kilmer as a villain.
So, guys, tell me if you heard this before. A Batman becomes a Spider-Man villain.
So yeah, your first test of stealth is to avoid the biographic scan, the auto scanner, like this. Otherwise, don't worry, if you fuck up, Sloan will not recognize it. Will not recognize it. Will just say, "Oh, something came in the vent. Let's repeat it again."
Slow down, Miguel. Take your time.
Oh, don't worry, Miguel. You will not be able to be spotted here.
So, okay, first Michael Keaton, then Val Kilmer. So
In case you're wondering, the Stark Fujiyama is a company in the 2099 universe, which of course it's an evolution of the Stark Industries.
So one has to wonder, does this mean George Clooney's gonna become a Spider-Man villain to complete the circle?
Probably.
And which Spider-Man villain would he become, I wonder?
I can see him.
There's Might, maybe?
Hypno-Hustler?
Nah, I don't see him as that one, to be honest.
Maybe Electro if he has an accident.
Nah.
No.
I don't see
Electro's more of a
George.
younger
Yeah.
Tombstone?
Tombstone's supposed to be a black guy. He's just
Damn.
albino. Like, let's just say if we had a white guy playing Tombstone, that would raise a few flags.
I'm trying to think. Actually, that's.
Oh no.
Hold on.
Don't get away
Not
from me,
Kingpin, he doesn't have the body set.
Yeah, the body type does not work for that.
Not Vulture, that's already taken. Oh, maybe Hobgoblin.
No.
No, I'm not seeing that one either.
Well, I mean, I guess he could portray like, oh god, what's the first Hobgoblin's name? He's pretty old at
I
this
forgot.
point.
Mark Hamill was the. I remember
No,
Mark
no,
Hamill.
no. I'm talking about the Hobgoblin identity.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's maybe Judas Traveler?
Oh God, we're trying to forget that he existed. Considering that
Java,
he's
if
in-
there's one thing, oh shit, if there's one thing that the MCU has managed to do is to make shitty stories good, so who knows?
An ant? More like a
Ha!
Cute.
pick me up. Gotta get
Wow, I love how Sloan doesn't take into mind that somebody may have got here. It's like, now let's just try again.
Let's avoid this, and then move here. We should be done. There we go.
Maybe George Clooney could represent Carry-On.
He's heading for his time research lab, all right. There's an access point near the generator.
There we go.
So, was this Christopher Daniel Barnes's thing as Spider-Man he's up to now?
I think so. Don't remember. Basically, the moving controls are practically identical to the ones Shadow Dimension. Web zipping, double jumping, crawling onto walls and all. It's in that kind of sense, the control scheme is unchanged from that. It's the combat that has changed. Don't worry about the newspaper. They're sort of cute Easter eggs, but I will showcase them at the end after the credits. Basically, the idea is that this is centered around time travel, so of course. Some things may change over the course of time, so we'll be able to see the effects thanks to these newspaper headlines. Basically, these are instead your collectibles, which will function as skill points in order to acquire new abilities. Again, similar to Shadow Dimension, only that in this form there are collectibles more than just getting points from defeating enemies.
No way.
I can't believe this. There we go. Also, for some reason, as soon as you get to one of these terminals, you can press circle to blip loop some buttons and you will get automatically experience points from it. Weird.
Majestic music all of a sudden.
Again, leave it to Mr. Marino.
Yeah.
Seriously, Java, the score of the... Again, it feels so weird, but this score is very similar to the one of God of War, and yet manages to still be so different.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what Bear Mercury did with the fourth game, where where the score is a bit more subdued compared, because obviously the whole rage era of Kratos is over, but it still it feels like God of War music.
Okay, if I can give this game some credit, for the start, the web slinging is not bad.
Here's the problem. It's
Indoors.
limited. It's limited because let me get the problem out of the way with this. Unlike with Shadow Dimension, what's the first thing that you expect in a Spider-Man game? Swinging
Outdoor,
around
open box,
New York,
swinging around
different
action.
levels. Even in Shadow Dimensions, you were in these open levels. You spend the entire game in the Alchemax building.
Indoors.
I can't sugarcoat it in any shape or form.
So, okay.
Sure, there are different locations in it. It's kind of like a linear Metroidvania game, but unfortunately, it's gonna be entirely in this gigantic tower. Anyway, cutscene. Oh shit, we're too late.
Let's follow after him.
And he gets tangled inside the portal, and thanks to that, he gets to see Peter Parker dying thanks to the anti-venom.
As for Anti-Venom, we'll talk more about him later when he becomes more relevant
in the
to
next
plot.
part, actually, I think.
Yeah. Ew.
And now
And yes,
the future is
thanks.
screwed.
Yes, Pedro, we changed the future, so we changed the past.
Oh
Like,
no,
look at this,
Lady
the statue.
Liberty!
Look at this. The Statue of Liberty turns into an evil Statue of Liberty.
I just don't understand why writers think this is something that people will not roll their eyes on. Like it.
Okay, look. There are some rare occasions where changing the future to change the past can work, but that's only with a very intricate story.
I mean,
that comes with
Futurama
good
does that
reasoning.
with the whole Fry is his own grandpa.
Oh boy. So yeah, we gotta fix the
We
past.
cut back
now.
to the Daily Bugle. In case you're wondering, J. Jonah Jameson is played by Fred at the Shore for this cameo.
Who does a relatively fine enough J.K. Simmons impression.
Weird. I mean, why Fred at the Shuri of all actors?
The thing
Oh,
is,
yeah.
there was a
This
musical
game is
about
also
him.
very referential.
Yes, they actually remember that Peter's supposed to be married to Mary Jane in this one.
Oh shit. The Daily Bugle turned into an Alchemax facility.
Go see a show. MJ, I would love to, but I'm working with Dr. Octavius in the
Oh, Dr.
Oh,
Octavius, you
snap.
say.
sample of my own
A DNA project, hey?
I'm still waiting for some tests.
This is a reality where Dr. Octavius is still a respected member of society, but it's okay. You know, it's funny, Tio, despite time
Hold on,
changing...
Mary Jane is voiced by Laura Vandervoort.
Oh, thanks for that close-up of her mouth. That was totally
Yeah.
necessary.
Do you
know-
remember, Pedro, this was still the area where Mary Jane was heavily used just for as a, as a love interest and nothing else.
Well, not so much nothing else. And wait, hold on. What year was this released?
2011.
God damn it.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, at this point, she and Peter had been split up by Mephisto in the comics, so we had to rely on alternate universes and whatnot to.
Yeah, in case
actually
you're
remember
wondering,
that.
the common theory is that Peter David wrote this as a spiteful thing against One More Day, because later on you will see what he thinks of all Mary Jane and Peter Parker having to stay together. Anyway, in case you're wondering, Laura Vandervoort has been most notable role was Supergirl in the Smallville TV series.
Huh.
She was also in Bitten. I don't know what it is. She was in the most recent Saw movie, Jigsaw, 2017. She was also in a TV series called Instant Star, and a bunch of other things. Her resume is pretty solid.
Well, I mean, we say recent at the time of this recording in regards to the movie, because we know.
Yeah. Are they still making another sequel after that? I wonder.
I don't know.
So yeah, one of the cool abilities you do have is the ability to make an accelerated decoy.
Oh yeah, they fixed that actually. I remember I complained about this in Shadow Dimension because it was very useless. Here, it actually works much better. Basically, you're not only allowed to, avoid projectiles, but also essentially avoid enemies and get them from behind instead, avoiding little damage. Dark Lord Shadow complains to you that this is way too OP and turns you invisible for a couple of days, but considering how the enemies become very ruthless later in the game, I think it's kind of necessary.
I guess it's something that starts off quite overpowered.
In his defense, it doesn't. Sorry, go ahead.
It's also the problem that these Spider-Man games, as you will see and you're seeing right now, focuses much more on beat 'em up than on exploration and platforming.
That's kind of what happens.
I mean, it's not that bad an idea. The point is that this is what you will do for the most part.
I mean,
a good Spider-Man games balances stuff like that.
I mean, Spider-Man 2000 was mostly combat, and that was fine.
Well, wait, hold on. Which one? Oh, Dwibs, you're talking about the
PS1.
Dreamcast game, right?
PS1.
Well, PS1 Dreamcast,
Well, the other one we did, Jova.
Exactly. It's funny you mention that, Dwibs. Let's just say this game blatantly steals from that game at certain points.
Oh yeah, true.
Oh, yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, trust
Anyway,
me,
time
you'll
for
see it when it comes.
the weird fucked up thing. Now, Miguel will be able to communicate with Peter and vice versa, thanks to an ability that we got by being tangled in the time stream called a chrono link. I will explain this after the party is over because it's a can of worms, so just hear the dialogue for now.
Now, on the one hand,
Well
you
done,
can-
Trevor.
The point in time it was taken. I just wish it was from earlier on. We have almost no time.
Oh, more credits, by the way.
Also expect a lot of time puns.
What now? Because it kind of sounded like you said kill.
Listen.
More credits.
Walker Sloan from 2099 created a time gateway. It was a one-way trip that dumped him sometime in the 1970s.
We're nearly 20 minutes in and we're still getting credits.
To build Alchemax,
Yep.
years before it was supposed to be established, transforming your world and mine.
But I work for Alchemax.
Oh, yeah.
You're saying that's somehow wrong?
Completely. At this point in time, you earn a living taking news pictures for J. Jonah Jameson. The late night ranting TV.
Yep. Funny, you should mention that.
Where does this so-called death happen? Sloan's building another gateway on the 66th
Because-
floor so he can finally travel back and forth. I saw you being killed right there. By who? I couldn't make it out. It doesn't matter. Get out of the building. So a crazed killer can wander around the building without...
Yeah, you asked the wrong person, Miguel.
Besides, if I find this guy somewhere else, then I'm invincible because I can only die at the gateway.
That is not how time travel works.
What he said, it's not an exact science.
You know, Peter, you're taking this whole your reality is the wrong reality thing actually pretty well.
Got a lot to learn about
Thank goodness he's still Spider-Man in this reality.
And that means going after bad guys. You want a Spider-Man who'll do whatever you want? Go play a video game.
Funny.
I get
Anyway,
it because
let me
Beanox
expla-
were
let me-
doing those.
Oh, Roxon, cute. Anyway,
Hey, Jonah Jameson's eyes on you.
talk on radio. Anyway, let me explain, because this is it will be a central focus in the entire game, this crawling communication between Peter Parker and Miguel. The problem is that it requires a huge suspension of disbelief to make it work narrative-wise, because by all laws of time travel, it shouldn't be possible, in a sense that Miguel and Peter are communicating as if their own times are running parallel with each other, meaning that, what Peter is experiencing is also what Miguel is experiencing, and, they're experiencing at the same time. The problem is that for Miguel, it's still the past. It's like he's viewing a DVD or VHS record, in that kind of sense. It shouldn't really then make sense, because Peter would be in a lot of dangerous situation, but for Miguel it will be just the past. He will just be needed to adjust properly. And the game only hand waves about this. So let me warn you from the very beginning. One of these entire premises of this game is based around a lot of suspension of disbelief. And I wouldn't blame you for a second if you think it doesn't work for this narrative. But all in due time. For now, we will see you for the next part.
See ya.
See ya.
So, yeah.
So yeah.